All right, so this is experiment 1 or a presentation, what's in the water? So to start the experiment, we first had to develop an understanding of IR and NMR. IR is infrared and it shows the functional groups that are present in certain substances based off where the peaks occur in the graph. And then NMR is nuclear magnetic resonance, which shows the number of hydrogens present in a certain substance and how frequent and the amount of each type of hydrogen based on the area under each of the peaks present. And the purpose of the experiment was to identify the unknown concentrations present in a surface water sample. So this chart specifically right here is the functional groups chart. It is for IR. This shows the ranges in which certain functional groups occur on an IR graph. And so we used it later in the lab to determine what type of IR was present. These are the IR and NMR pre-lab charts. So for the IR evaluation, we looked at each of the molecules that had the potential to be present in the sample water. And so from there, we check marked, or in my case, I X'd, which functional groups were present in each of those types of molecules. For the NMR evaluation, once again, all of the molecules that had the potential to be present are listed. And then we evaluated their graphs to see the number of peaks, which once again correlates with the number of hydrogen present in each of those molecules. And then the ratio of the areas occurred under each, which meant roughly how frequent or the amount of each of those hydrogen groups. For the experimental procedure, so for the IR, we first took our designated vials and we extracted the vial liquid and put it into a brass ferrule that was placed in the center of the IR machine, which right there, that's the circle. You put the brass ferrule right on top of the center diamond. From there, it was filled 2/3 the way full and the spectra was run, and then our results were printed from the computer. For the NMR, our designated vial was taken and put into the sample adjustment block. After we did that, we took a VWR tissue and wiped off possible fingerprints. From there, it was put in the sample compartment and then the spectra was run and our results were printed from the computer. So these are the results for the IR vial. As you can see, there are multiple peaks present. For the table up here, we listed that there was a CH benzene ring, a CH singly bonded carbon, and a CCl present, as you can see on here. However, obviously, as CCl is the most present peak, it does not matter because of the fact that there's a benzene ring, and that means that it can cause peaks down here. For the NMR results, this is a graph that occurred. There are obviously 2 peaks. One of them has an area of 1 underneath, and the other has an area of 1.5 underneath. This means that there are 2 types of hydrogen present. We actually doubled the area underneath so that when we found the ratio of areas, we could be working with full numbers. Vial 20 identification. After evaluating the graphs and the tables, we found that vial 20 was paraxylene. This is because, based on the NMR, there were 2 peaks and a ratio of 2 to 3. And the only one that matched that on our original pre-lab charts was the paraxylene, so that was the only one that could be. Further validation of this was the IR chart, in which there was a singly bonded carbon and a CH benzene ring. So although vial 20 also showed the CCl, like I said before, it's irrelevant because benzene rings can present in the lower end of the graph. Paraxylene also forms hazards. In this case, there are human health risks. Most of them affect your balance, control, and motor functions. It also causes organ irritation, whether that be your kidney, your liver, or your skin, because it can cause skin irritations. And then it can also cause central nervous system disruption. And then for environmental risks, when it's present in high amounts, because usually it's present in high amounts in groundwater if it's not dissolved, that's when it can really affect the organ systems. There's 6 out of 11 of the bodily systems in animals and in humans when they're present. So, for example, that could be your nervous system, your gastrointestinal, your reproductive, and obviously a couple more. And those are the references.